Welcome everyone to Virtual Knit Night with Aimée and Julia. And we have our special guests, Maxim Cyr and Vincent Deslandes, otherwise known as Les Garçons, joining us tonight. And we also have their test knitters, who are we going to talk about in the second part of Knit Night tonight. So everyone, please get settled in, grab your knitting. If you're just joining in now, pop into the comments. Our chat is super active. Feel free to chat amongst yourselves while we talk and knit. And make sure that you have your knitting with you. All right. So let me turn the music down here a little bit. Let's get started. So hi, Max. Hi, Vincent.
Hi.
How are you guys doing?
Good. It's been a hell of a year so far, but
yeah. What, January 26th? Yeah, we're done.
Yeah.
We're done.
It already feels like a long year already.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm good. We're good too. We're getting started with the new year and the new projects and the new stuff.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I thought that it would be great for you guys to introduce yourselves. So I think we'll start with Max. I have a whole series of questions, and then we'll go and we'll do the same thing with Vincent. Max, please tell everyone who's tuning in a little bit about yourself.
Yep. My day job, well, my older day job was being a children's book illustrator. I've been working on a series for the past 12 years now. We were releasing 2 books every year, and it's a mix between cartoons and documentary. And in every book, you will discover a different city through the eyes of Les Dragouilles, which are the name of the little characters. So we did Paris, we did Montreal, we did Dakar, Johannesburg, like many cities around the world. And while I was working on the Iceland book from Reykjavik, this is where I discovered knitting, because I saw that a lot of Icelander, I think it's 50% of the population will knit.
Yeah.
So I wanted to add it to the books for sure. And I was living with Tanya, who's with us tonight, and Vincent, and we just decided to start to knit from there. And Les Dragouilles, now I can actually finally say it. Yeah. Next month, it's going to be turned into a TV show. An animated TV show. Yeah.
You know what? My daughter is going to be so excited because she really likes that series. You gifted me a couple of those books, and now so is it going to be on Netflix or something, or?
The equivalent in the Quebec one, it's Radio Canada. So it's okay. CBC if you're in English, but it's Radio Canada here. And the day we went into the first lockdown is the day I received a call saying we had the green light. So many mixed emotion in the same day of being like, now we have to. So we've did the whole thing through Zoom every week for the past 2 years. And now it's going to be out next month, which is so exciting. We've been part of the process since day one. It's amazing. It's really funny. It's really, really cute. So
oh my God, that's so incredible. How exciting. Yeah. Well, I'll have
Such a big milestone for me to after
yeah,
10 years.
It's another project, 2 years in the making that we couldn't talk about until just recently.
Yeah.
So these first knit nights that we're doing right now at the beginning of the year are kind of around my book Worsted. And I had invited Vincent, and we thought that it would be great to have, we invited Max, but we thought it would be great to have Vincent join us as well, because we just finished collaborating on the holiday mystery box. So we're going to be talking about so much stuff tonight. It's going to be fun. But first we're going to start talking about Worsted. So Worsted was my book that I released in November. And Max, I reached out to Max and asked him to join me on this book adventure. We worked together on the Pom Pom magazine issue 35. Where he made what was the name of that pattern?
It was Midnight Garden, and it was actually
Garden.
Yeah, it was both of us for that one.
Oh, that was a Les Garçons design. Okay, that, I'm going to ask about that later.
Design.
And I was like, I want to bring Max onto this project, and so I just asked him. I said, "Hey, do you want to do this book with me?" And he was like, "Okay." And it was super great. And honestly, I just love everything that Max was doing, so I didn't give him any direction. I just told him it needs to be a colorwork sweater. And I was like, you can pick the colors you want as well. And so the original colors that Max picked, let me pull up a photo here from the book, because actually, Julie, you have the sample, right?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Pull the sample out. he picked two of our most gorgeous grays on Corey worsted and made this gorgeous yoke here. So Max, tell us about this. How did you come up with this actual design image?
Well, first of all, when you showed me the first new colors you had and what it would look on Corey worsted, I was really tempted with all the pinks and the caramel, and then of course I added grays because that's me. And I tried so hard to do something more colorful than usual and ended up with the new gray because it's just like, it's me, it's perfect. It's just, I just love it. And I was playing around with different things because my original idea was, I have my little swatch that I did, was to have a
I
color,
remember this, yeah.
but on a striped sweater. I wanted to try to bring like something modern, but there's such a thing about over designing where it just felt like this wasn't needed for the top. So I tried to make this one work so much. It was my third attempt of something stripy, and I just did it without. I'm like, okay, no, it has to be like that. It's bold enough as it is, and this is just something natural for this pattern. I was just doodling around, making shapes that I liked that would look nice being repeated. And I called it Yesteryears because for me, I was seeing little Y everywhere. And then I thought everyone has a different view of it.
Yeah.
It can be
all right,
fun.
let's do a fun exercise really quick. Everyone in the audience right now, type in the comments, what do you see when you look at the yoke of Yesteryears? Let's see what kind of fun answers come up.
Paper dolls, hearts, people holding hands.
Yeah, I see that.
Tanya sees little aliens like me. I see aliens too.
I wonder if someone sees, I see champagne glasses.
Ooh.
Dancing dolls, hearts, definitely the hearts, yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I love it. Clapping singers.
Ooh, sapin, Christmas trees.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Amazing.
And with colorwork yoke, we see a lot of smaller repetition. I like to make mine big, so you have like a big statement here. It makes for longer floats, but they're manageable when it's only two colors. But it's something they like to play with.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And the Corey worsted kind of velcros to itself. Like seriously, the floats in here are all they're just like fused to the sweater now. It's not moving. Yeah. It's great. It's great. This is I really love this yarn for color work. So yeah, so you designed Yesteryears, and you know what? I'm thinking about casting on because we're doing a cowl right now for the book, and I think I'm going to figure out how to do a steeked version of Yesteryears, and I'm going to cut it and make it in a cardigan. Someone's done it. We saw someone, right, Julia?
Yeah, we saw someone on Instagram
who did it. So I was like, oh, that's how I got the idea. So I'm going to try to figure out how to do a steeked version of Yesteryears.
Yeah. And we were thinking because Nadia did a stick for Azucena. She explains exactly how to set it up. So I think we can use that part of Azucena.
Instructions from Azucena and plug it into Yesteryears. And
yeah, I think you just have to add little rows and then be brave enough to cut through it. But that would be doable.
I'm definitely brave enough. I like steeking. It's fun. I wanted to ask you, so outside designing and writing for your books and things like that, what kinds of things do you like to knit for yourself?
Now I mostly knit for design because my head is filled with ideas, and every project you cast it on, it always takes so much time. So I love to concentrate on working on my own stuff. But one thing that I've started to do since 2 holidays ago is to find a chunky sweater and knit it during the holiday break. So it's a 7-day sweater or something designed by someone else that I don't have like to be stressful about math or anything. And 3 years, that's my 3rd year, yeah. 3 years ago, I did the Gentle cardigan by Brandy
Cheyenne
Harper. Really fun to do. Last year, I did the pullover of, it was a jacket of Wave of Change pullover.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah.
And this year I adapted the Magnolia Bloom sweater for myself. It was really fun to do, really easy, and I just loved it so much. So
I saw that. That looked like You marled 2 yarns, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that looked
It was
fantastic.
like a cashmere by Chin Fiber, which acted more like a cereal alpaca with a meal yarn by Olan. It was dark green with black, and it really created a big marl. I thought the cashmere was going to do something more like a mohair, where you just had like a halo of a second color. But the marling just looked like camo for me, and it's exactly what
it looked
what
just
I
like
needed.
camo.
Yeah.
Yeah, super good. So, I was just gonna ask you. So, I wanted to segue into like, how do you come up with your ideas for like the shapes that you're gonna design for? So, you say you have lots of ideas for designing. Like, how do you decide on what kind of shape you're gonna work with?
For yoke, I really love the traditional where you just increase and it's a round yoke. But when I do something with a textured pattern, I'll prefer raglan. This is the best shape for my type of shoulder and what I like to wear. So I will mostly go for this when I try to do like casual wear, if you want.
Okay.
But for bolder fabric, I really love doing the color work like you have right now.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm addicted to mosaic knitting, which I didn't know was that fun because slipping stitches always feel like cheating because you go so fast through like one row and then come back and it's so much easy. So now I'm playing with shawl shapes, something that I never thought I was going to design because there's so many shawl out there. Everyone already had so many good ideas that I thought, how can I bring my perspective to it? Because so many things already exist. But now I think I found a way of, I love to create fabrics. So this is what I'm focusing on. Yeah.
Would you say that you're a process knitter or a product knitter?
Process.
Oh,
I
yeah,
barely
me
wear
too.
my knits. Yeah. I just, every time I finish like a new sweater, I will keep it on the side until we take the photos, just in case I don't want to spill something on it and have to redo it. Then we take the photo and I finish 3 other sweaters. So they just piling up. So I love the process knits, but I'm not a big wearer of my knits. I will wear a lot of shawl, but my sweater, I mainly keep them for sample, just to make sure. Yeah.
But he only wears my sweaters.
Yeah, I'll wear what he knits.
Like, my black woolen honey has been like hidden under lock and key because I don't want him.
I'm not allowed.
You're not allowed to have. So can you guys swap sweaters back and forth?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's lucky. Well, actually, I'm lucky too because Julie and I can swap our sweaters back and forth. So there's been many times we've been wearing each other's sweaters. I wanted to ask you, so is there a designer in our industry that inspires you?
I really love what Tin Can Knits has done. When I started designing, I wish their book was out, Strange Brew, which is the perfect way as an introduction for color work, even for designers.
Yeah.
They're an amazing duo, so kind, and they're like truly Canadian, always helping each other, and this is so cool. I really love what they're doing. Otherwise, Camilla Vad has such a strong point of view, which is so amazing.
Her aesthetic is so Camilla Vad. Like when I see a Camilla Vad pattern, I know it's hers. Like I just know it's hers, you know? So yeah.
Yeah, and her colors, everything, yeah.
Yeah.
And I love to see up and coming designer bringing something totally new. I've seen it's his first pattern. I'm like, how did you do that?
Ooh, tell us, who is it?
What's his name? He has the little peak. He made like
make a,
okay,
like a
well,
sweater.
You can think about it and then you'll come back and tell us.
But he created something that like, that's your first sweater. Like, this is just a puzzle to me of how you managed to do sleeves and the whole thing. And it's like a bit hipster what he made. It was just totally crazy. So I'll find it and I'll show it.
Yeah, we definitely need to know that. All right, so I have kind of a fun question for you, Max. If you could be a knitting technique, what technique would represent Max the knitter?
What's something lazy and easy to do? I love to cut corners. I don't like to find new. Oh yeah, I'll be the long tail cast on just because I'm still doing the easy one that I've learned instead of doing the fastest one that exists now. It's just, that's the first thing I learned. That's the one I'm going to use until. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, that was the first cast on I learned. So what is your favorite cast on, just out of curiosity?
Maybe this one? Because I'm always, for example, I'm toe up and all those things. So I barely need something to be that stretchy. Yeah. But I quite like the tubular cast on the way I'm writing it, which is easier than separating the needle.
Ooh, interesting. I'll have to look it up.
Like
so, can you tell me some of the projects? So you just finished this project of your book becoming a TV show.
Yep.
What other projects are you kind of working on that you're allowed to tell us about?
Do you want me to show a design using Courier worsted that you don't know anything about?
What?
It's just that thing that I doodled something, I knew what I wanted, and it's worsted, so it goes so quick. So it's a sweater, and I've already separated for sleeve.
Oh my gosh!
I'm
putting my knitting down. I'm paying attention.
Yeah. It's a simple shape, like I talked earlier with raglan. So it's going to be reverse stockinette. And what I like with the reverse is the confetti really look like confetti. Instead of following the shape of the
stitch,
it creates like a little bubble like the confetti.
It does.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
For the stripes, we're going to use just one mini. And this is left over from my Volcano trail. Your spark, like a yellow. And the same detail is going to be on the sleeve, but nothing at the bottom.
Oh my goodness, I love it. I love it. I'm like a 100% fan of crew neck sweaters, pullovers. Those are like my favorite style to wear all the time. That's amazing.
Yeah. And I wanted something like sportswear. And if we could release it like this summer, this felt like a little, it's great, but you get a little pop of color with it.
Mm.
Oh my goodness, that's so cool. So speaking of Corey confetti, I thought I would sneak peek the next color that's coming in February. Are you guys ready for this? Here it is. It's called Framboise. It's kind of like this burgundy red. I mean, the light in Zoom is like crazy, so it kind of makes it look a little bit darker. But we're calling it Framboise, and it literally arrived into the studio today. So we're going to be putting these skeins online in February, on February 14th. So you guys can expect that.
For Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Cute little Valentine's Day gift. So. Well, thanks for telling us. Is there anything else you can show us? What are you knitting on right now? I saw you knitting on something.
Yeah, that's the one I'm knitting on.
Oh, okay.
But I finished a shawl this week. It's Mosaic Knitting, like I just talked earlier.
Wow.
And it's using Spin Cycle.
I love the shifts of the color. That's incredible.
This would be great for handspun, sorry. Like a great way to frame the handspun. And what I love with Mosaic Knitting, it's always the back. It's always so neat.
It's so tidy.
It is.
Yeah. That's amazing.
So I just thought it's going to go test knit soon, and I'm finishing writing it up.
I love it. I love how graphic it is. It's so amazing. So handspun. I'm going to throw this over to Julia because Julia is now our resident hand spinner here at LBA. I do not hand spin. And we thought that we would let her geek out a little bit with Max.
But just before, do you dye fiber?
We don't, but maybe I have to now. I feel
you absolutely have to.
Pressure.
We absolutely have to, because I started spinning. So I only have a drop spindle, and I started spinning, when was it? This fall, I think. Yeah. And I'm already feeling the need to level up and get an e-spinner, because drop spindling is fun, but it does take a very long time. So I was talking to Max just before we started and asking him questions about it, because there's spinning wheels and there's e-spinners. I live in a small Parisian flat. I mean, it's not small, but it's not big. So I feel like a spinning wheel would probably be too big. And,
I have a little e-spinner on a coffee table in the living room. It doesn't take that much space, and I just store all my things in the drawer underneath, so it doesn't take that much space. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
Sounds like
I'm going you to say yes. Go for it.
We have an affiliate link.
Yes, we're all enablers here. It's okay.
Yes, please. Yeah. So I started drop spindling in the fall, and already two of my colleagues, Anne and Annie, have also started, and we're pressuring Aimée like crazy because if Aimée, you don't want to spin, that's okay, but we need to dye fiber. Like I want to spin La Bien Aimée.
Actually, you guys are actually making me want to try spinning again. So the last time I tried spinning, it was super stressful. I learned to spin from Elizabeth Johnston in Shetland, which is like, she's an amazing spinner. And I was like, I can't do this. First of all, I was nervous because of who she was and who she was teaching the class. And at the same time, I was too much in my head, so I couldn't really enjoy it. I was like, I'm a perfectionist too. And so it was like coming out all weird, thick and thin. And I was like, I don't know, this isn't for me. So maybe I will try again with my colleagues. But dyeing fiber, I'm going to look into it. I'm going to talk to my dye team and see how they feel about it. Maybe some LBA dyed fiber could happen.
I've seen someone online, Whiskey and Wool, a knitter with a podcast. She made the Yesteryears sweater with the yoke being her own hand spot.
Ooh.
And it creates something a little fade, and then it's really nice. So it's so the thing is, it's fun spinning, but then you're gonna knit with it and you'll discover a new addiction again of using it in every project, anywhere we can. Yeah.
Yesterday, I actually received a book that, because I watch Andrea Mari's podcast, I'll Knit and Spin if I want to. And she recommended this book called Yarny Texture by Jillian Moreno. And I received it yesterday evening and I just read it all night because it is so fascinating to me because I know nothing about it. I just buy the pretty fiber with lots of sparkles in it. And it's super hard to drop spindle because there's a ton of different fibers in there. It's really, really difficult. So it comes out all thick and thin, which I'm not exactly sure what I could use it for, but I can knit a shawl with it without a problem.
That's not true, Julia. You said we were going to do the marled magic.
Oh, I'm absolutely putting it in a shawl, like, because who cares about gauge? It's just a shawl, and we're gonna do the marled magic, so I can. Yeah. So I've been looking at that book yesterday evening, yeah.
Maybe you should type the title of the book into the chat. What's it called?
Sure. Yarny Texture. And it she actually explains that first you start spinning because it's fun and relaxing, but then as soon as you start using your hand span to knit with, it's like it opens up this whole other universe for you, and you actually start to understand the fiber and the yarn, how it's constructed and stuff, and what you can use it for. So I'm excited to discover this.
That sounds amazing. What's your favorite kind of fiber to spin, Max?
I really love Jacob because it's a dark gray for me for the color. And now I've started to carded some of my own bath, and I love muted colors. So I will always add gray to it to just tone it down a little bit. Okay. So Jacob is really fun.
There's a bunch of like fiber over that shelf there that Max does for fun and then never use.
So Vincent, will you dye fiber?
I have some, and my
oh, gorgeous.
Max and my assistant are pressuring me to dye it, but I'm like,
well, maybe we could do it together. Maybe we'll we'll do this together, and we could that could be our next collaboration or something. We could
fiber. Yes, please. Yes, please.
I'm team yes too.
Okay, let's
I'm just finding any excuse to collaborate with Vincent again because we had so much fun on the holiday box. But we'll talk about that later. So so before I move on to ask Vincent more questions about his dyeing, I want to talk about the Shibuya Knits collaboration because this was a collaboration between the both of you with Shibuya Knits.
Yep.
So
actually, again, just before the pandemic, Julie Hoover was visiting Montreal to promote our Shibuya collection. And then with her was one of the members of Shibuya that we met here. And you know when it connect with someone easily? And she just said, if you're coming to Portland, come and see us. We're gonna be able to have further talk. And we were actually going to Rose City Yarn Club.
Rose City. Oh, I want to go to that. Nice.
So we got to visit them, and then they told us about that idea that we just actually love because.
And it was really we met Julie at a workshop at Knit City Vancouver, and then we saw her again at Vogue Knitting Live, she said, "Oh, I'm coming to Montreal. We should have a drink." And then she was in Montreal with the Shibuya person. And,
you know, like Sandy, all those things that just
just connects and everything.
Yeah.
And and we basically did what the same project that Julie Hoover did, which was designing 3 colors. And then we chose the bases we wanted the colors on, and then we designed like a mini collection with those
what were
colors.
The colors exactly? Gray, okay. I think.
Yeah, I have them here.
The colors were inspired by winter in Canadian winter.
I wanted to do like a 3 gray collection, but they wouldn't let me. So let's see if we can see them. So there's here, it's called Soirée. So it's like a gray, kind
warm
of
gray,
like a warm gray. This one's called Boreal, and it's like a tealy green. And this one is called Rosé, or Rosé. And it's like it's muted pink that if you put it next to this one, it looks pink. And if you put it next to this one, it looks like a little bit more gray.
Yeah.
So those are the 3 colors. And then we chose the Silk Cloud. And then we had that fun nest color, like base.
What is that nest base? I'm not familiar with it. What's it made out of?
It's 75% wool and 25% alpaca, but there's like a little netting over the fiber, so
very cool.
See it better here. So the gray streaks or black streaks is actually like a knitting, and it envelopes the yarn.
And it created a header effect. Vincent is wearing one of the sweater we designed with.
Yep.
And in between,
this is nest, and this is the other base here, called Haven. But we also call it Heaven because it's 80% merino and 20 cashmere.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's so soft. We're actually out of the Boreal colorway. And then last one is Pebble, which is a little like light fingering, and I don't know if maybe we can see, like it has like little
kind of see it.
Yeah. It has recycled silk in it, and it's very fun to work with. So we had all of those bases, our 3 colors, and then we created like a mini collection
so
of
the sweater you're wearing is one of the sweaters from the collection.
Yeah. There's also, I only have the swatch because again, the
sample.
But I made a sweater, not a sweater, a scarf. A scarf.
A scarf and mitts.
Yep.
I love that.
And then we had like a cowl, and I made a brioche sweater.
I saw that brioche sweater. It caught my eye. I like that.
And I have to say, making 5 patterns and keeping them secret, that's the hardest thing.
So how long did you work on this collaboration with Shibuya?
It took a whole 2 years to get the yarn done.
Since the first meeting, and then we like created the color. I dyed. They sent me some yarn that I dyed like about the colors that we wanted on. Then they had it like done in the lab and everything. Like, so it took like first meeting was like February of 2020.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So.
Well, it's an incredible collection. When it came out, I was like completely obsessed. I need to go online and buy the yarn now. Julia, we're gonna do some yarn shopping tomorrow. So
always up for that, no problem.
It was it was so fun, but it was like it kind of came like all the finishing was at the same time as the box. Like we had to finish the patterns, and while we were planning for the box, so it was a busy end of 2021.
Wow.
Wow.
So like now we're glad that it's all over, and the box and that.
The box was kind of crazy pants for us here too. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Let's back up a little bit, Vincent. Tell us about yourself a little bit. How did you come to knitting? Tell us what your day job is.
Well, now my day job is full-time dyeing and managing the store and everything. Before that, I was a translator and reviser. So I was trained as a translator, and I worked for about 15 years. And at some point I was like, maybe I want to do full, like I had started designing my first patterns and being like in the yarn industry. And at some point I decided that I wanted to do it full time. So I created the Vincent 2020 plan.
Okay.
Or
before
that
What's
year.
the
wanted-
Vincent
I wanted,
2020
like,
plan?
I wanted in 2020 to be full time or leave my job, at least my full time job, to work with yarn. So like the plan included like being freelance translator, but also yarn dyeing and then designing and all of those stuff. And yeah, I actually quit at the end of 2019 and started full time.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. That's amazing. So, just
yeah.
really quick question: who taught you to knit? Like, how? Okay, tell me how you came to knitting exactly, because you kind of glossed over that really fast.
I'll tell you. I think my grandmother, like my father's mother, taught me like at some point when I was young. Like I remember her trying to teach me because she was a knitter. But then I really started with my ex's brother, who was like a crazy guy that just started like projects like, let's learn how to play guitar, let's learn how to knit, let's learn how to like skate. It's like all different things. And then at some point he was like, let's learn how to knit. And I was like, oh, I think I can, like, I kind of can't do it. And I started with him, like it's really self-taught in a book and YouTube, basically. And the first thing I made from that was like a scarf, but it was like this large. Super.
Did it end
super
up like this
tiny.
big at the end?
No, it was straight. It was straight, but it was like it could barely do a turn. And then when Max like did the book on Iceland and Reykjavik, and then I started like knitting more and then learning more. And then I started with what did I do first? I did like a blanket, like a baby blanket that was fine. And then I tried to do like a mitt, and Tanya like mentioned it before we started. And I to this day, I think the pattern was wrong. It was so big.
It was an oven mitt.
It was like I could fit two hands on it, in it. But no, there was anyway. So I never did the second one. But yeah, that's my origin story.
The thing is,
That's amazing.
Vincent is a problem solver in life. So when we started knitting, I was still trying to figure out what I was doing wrong. So I was just giving to him. So he was learning way quicker because I was making so many mistakes.
Yeah.
He was always fixing everything we're making.
That's nice. I was just going to ask you, so if you're knitting for yourself, what are you knitting?
If I'm knitting for myself, I look at my stash and then I pick stuff, and I really like I just find a project for it. Like I just want to chip away at my stash, which is way smaller than Max's. Just so everyone knows.
I think I remember you guys talking about this in one of your podcasts. You guys compared your stashes or something, and yours like fit into one little cube or something like that.
Well, it's like we have like each side of the TV, we have like two like metal cupboard, like cabinets, yeah. And one fits in my stash fits in my cabinet, but his stash, like his cabinet is full, and then he has like over here, like in the back, like it's full of baskets with all of his.
But these
like,
are for work. It's not the same thing.
Okay, so I have a stash question. This is for both of you.
Also, this is my stash.
That's the most beautiful stash. So, Vincent, you said that when in your stash you just have yarn. So when you shop for yarn, do you just buy like on a coup de coeur, like you just fall in love with it and buy it, or like I buy for a project? I never just buy like.
I buy like, I don't buy single skeins much. Like when I did like my last spree, I bought like maybe 4 sweater quantities. Like but I was like, it's what, like, it's once a year, once every 2 years, I go crazy, and I like,
That's true.
and yeah, I like, because for example, like when he bought that confetti, I bought like also like a sweater quantity, and I know it's there. So when I want to make like either a sweater or a design, I know it's like I have it, but I don't buy like single skeins much. Sometimes I do sometimes, but yeah, that's why my stash, it's contained.
Somebody says in the chat, it's Carson. She's a stash enhancer.
Yeah.
I totally love that. That needs to be like a pin or something. It says stash.
Yep.
Enhancer. All right. How about you, Max? How do you buy yarn? Like when you're shopping for yarn?
I will do the single skein that is a Kuutar for sure. I find that it's harder to find a sweater's quantity of Kuutar. Curry worsted, I knew I wanted a whole sweater out of it, but if otherwise, when I want this color as a whole sweater, I don't want it to be part of this color word. It's all those things that are harder to find. But yeah.
Well, I do like when I have the project in mind, I'm gonna buy some more. But when I just buy for myself, kind of like spur of the moment.
But for example,
sweater
your
quantities.
Miyazaki collection, it just like you have to get one of each. That's
Yeah,
it to collect them all.
Yeah,
that
it's
would
like
be
Pokemon.
I
Collect them
actually
all.
have some here.
I don't know if you guys can see. Oh, you can't see behind my wall. I have the next Miyazaki colors that are coming out soon. They're all ready. But we're not going to sneak peek those tonight. So let's talk about Holiday Box, Vincent.
Yes.
Now that we're far away from the packing of the boxes now, I feel like we can talk about it.
Yeah. Well, it went all right here. I don't know.
I mean, it went all right here too, but it was intense, and this is the second time you guys have done it, and because this was the first time that we did it, so I had no idea what was going on.
Like, we had planned everything in advance, but it was very intense.
Yeah.
So
next time I can bring everything, and we can bring our people, and then we can like just package everything together.
We needed to bring our team. Hey, that next time we do this, we should bring all of our teams together. You guys come to Paris and help us, and then we'll fly to Montreal and help you, and we'll have packing parties.
Yeah.
Okay, so the holiday mystery box was something that the Garçons did last year. I subscribed to it. I was obsessed with it. I loved opening it every day. And so I was like, oh, this is a good idea for an advent calendar, because I couldn't get on board with doing 24 presents. I was like, that's so many to pack. And I love their idea of just doing kind of like a half advent calendar thing. It was like less for it to be project oriented as well. So I had just met Les Garçons. I don't even remember when I approached you. I think I just walked up to you and I was like, let's do a holiday box together.
Well, yeah, I think at first it was like, let's just collaborate, and then we tried like do something, and then at some point it became the box, and it was like, okay, why not? Like,
yeah, and it just clicked. It just clicked. Like we were chatting over Zoom it was during the pandemic, and we're like, okay, what's the theme going to be? And I was like, Paris, Montreal. I was like, I think we should do Paris, Montreal. You know, so
because the first one was Scotland, like a holiday in Scotland or something. Yeah, was it Scotland?
Holidays.
So I like the little travel oriented
thing. The travel theme is brilliant, actually. Yeah, definitely. And so Vincent died for Paris and I died for Montreal. And I've never been to Montreal in the winter. I've only been to Montreal in the summer. So I really had to take some advice from Vincent. I was really looking at the beautiful photos. He was pointing me towards like iconic Montreal scenes in the wintertime. And that's kind of how we came up with our colors.
Yeah. And
okay,
then
I'm gonna hold these up, and I'm gonna hold these up, and you can tell everybody about each of the colors. So this one, I know these are not in the order that we opened them up. This one.
So this one is Christian's tree.
Yeah.
And it's when I was all my memories were from when we were in Paris in December of 2019 for Max's work. He was at the Salon du Livre. And while he was working, I was just like walking around Paris, just like spending, like just not doing anything special, just like walking around. And I stumbled upon one of Christian Dior's store. and it has like a big tree on the facade.
Mm-hmm.
And then I found a picture of it, and that's where that colors comes from, because
Yeah.
it has like the cream of the brick, like, and then the little like lights were kind of speckled. I don't know.
With the little speckles on here, yeah. They're super subtle. I love it. It's really nice. All right, so the next one is this gorgeous blue.
This one it's Gustave's tower.
Yeah.
It's for a picture of the Eiffel Tower that at night, like, yeah, I just found a picture. This one was not kind of a memory, but we found a picture of the tower, and the sky behind it was like very dark blue. And I think we already had found your blue, so we were trying to find a blue that like some kind of match.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how we selected this one.
So my blue came from, because I was poking around late at night on Pinterest, and I found La Ville Souterraine.
Yeah.
And I started looking at all the photos, and I was obsessed with all the photos. I mean, I want to go when I come to visit you guys. And there was like this one really beautiful photo. It looked like kind of like stained glass or something like that, with the light shining in, and it was the glass was this blue color, and I was like, okay, that's where this inspiration came from for this color.
Yeah.
All right, next up we have this one.
It's Yvonne's Cafe. This one is, again, I was just walking every day and then stopping at different cafes for lunch, and that's where I got the color from, because one of them I found a picture and has like this brick red front and then interior as well.
Yeah.
So that's
gorgeous
that's really
cafe.
perfect.
I'm gonna have to, when things get a little less restricted here in Paris, go visit it. So,
Yeah. I don't.
Okay.
It was not the best one. Like, it was not the best one, but it was one that I remembered. Like,
yeah, it was memorable of your trip to Paris. So
yeah.
Okay, this one I know.
Yeah.
Really well.
It's Aimé's Dotted Rays. Because this one I wanted to find with Vincent. This one I wanted something that was personal to you, and I love the gray to yellow fade that you had in your dotted rays, so that's what I basically made.
Yeah, this one looks so cool knit up in the cowl. Well, let me find it.
Yeah. It's
right here.
Yep.
It's so cool, the effect that it does, the gray to gold. Okay, so in response to Vincent's Amy's Dotted Ray, I dyed Vincent loves his neutrals right here.
Yep. I do.
And he does. He loves his grays. And we did it on our Felix base. So this is our non-superwash base. So it takes the color really nuanced and nice. So it has different shades of gray in the one skein of yarn. It's really cool. The other two colors that I dyed were this one called Belle Rose.
Oh.
And this one's called L'Heure Dorée. This was based on a beautiful photo of, I want to say the plateau or something, and then golden hour or something. Yeah.
But it's not. It's like when I wrote the little post, it's not the real golden hour, because the real golden hour is when it's when the sun is just about to set.
Yeah.
And you have all of those warm lights. But in the winter, here in Montreal, you have those streets that are covered in snow, and all of the street lights are very warm yellow, and it reflects everywhere, and it looks like you're walking into kind of gold,
like a golden hour moment. It was really beautiful, and so that was that struck out to me. And honestly, I think Belle Rose, there just needed to be pink in this one was the last one that came about, because after I had seen his colors and I pulled things together, I was like, I have to put pink in here. This is LVA. We have to do yellow, and we have to do pink. So we threw the pink in there, and it works really well. And then we come to the two big skeins here.
Yep.
So this big one is the Nuit d'hiver à Paris.
Yep. Again, from the trip, we had an Airbnb on the 5th or 6th floor. So we had like a
balcony.
no roof window, and we could see like we could open it and see like all of the the roofs and at night, and it was great because it was like beginning of December, so it was like, yeah, so it really reminded me of that.
Oh, it's really cool. And then the last color I came up with, I think this was based on another photo from the plateau. I think it was something with just, it was just snow. It looked like a snow apocalypse had happened, but it was super beautiful.
That's just Monday for us.
That's just Monday. Yeah.
That was this week. So I just thought that this would be a great color to represent l'hiver québécois.
Yeah, and it has like
exactly that.
Like it's so subtle, and yeah, you don't really see it there, but it had like blues and pinks and
yeah, it's got all these like little. You really see it when you have the cowl knit up, like in this section here. You can kind of see the nuances of l'hiver québécois going through. So all of these skeins came together, and then you guys, I had nothing to do with this. I told you I was going to come in and participate, but like literally I didn't have any time. You had a mystery cowl for this.
Yeah, well, spoiler alert, it helped me finish late because I needed the time with the Shibuya thing, and like I knew I needed the time, so I decided, oh well, why not organize an MCAL so I don't have to have it like fully tested when it starts. And yeah, and I figured like I already had the idea like of the design. Like I knew I wanted to make like a 4-section thing, like with both our yarns all the time. Like it's always mixing both our yarns in different sections. Oh, and I hope everyone is done. And I read the last clue because it was sent out, but we're showing it.
Wait, when was the last clue sent out?
Last Saturday.
Okay, I probably won't get video up on YouTube until after the weekend, so they still got some.
Oh, it's fine. Yeah.
Get going on it.
I'm gonna post the final pictures beginning of next week. So.
Okay. Very good.
So yeah, each section is like both our yarns. So I figured like it would be like a great way to host our first knit along, well, together, and then make it a mystery because it's fun also. And then
it's super great. I love how you brought our colors together in these different sections, and each section is so engaging. Our sample knitter Cecilia, who's here, she was sending us photos as she was working on it. It was just like so exciting to see each section coming about and how you brought them all together. It's really, really great.
Yeah, and it kind of was like the most challenging thing was make sure that I didn't run out of yarn with the sections, because like I had this idea was the first section I did first, but like I figured I should use no more than half the Sari if I want to like be able to reuse it and stuff like that. So like that was very challenging, and then finding all the patterns to not use more than half of the mini as well. Like that was a challenge, but it was a fun challenge.
Problem solver.
Yeah.
You've problem solved yourself out of that. It's great. I think this is a great length as well. You can really easily double it. I don't like infinity cowls, but this is like the first one that I'm wearing where I'm like, okay, this is the right size. It's the right length. Sometimes they're too short and it's like
the
neck. And I like the amount of ease that you built in here. It's really great.
And yeah, I had started like with the dimensions in mind. That's why I was like, I could have stopped at any time saying like, oh, I don't want to use too much yarn, so I'm gonna stop there. But it would have been too like small. So I
think it's great. Awesome. All right, well, we've come to the end of our first section. I thought that we would take a 5-minute break, and then we're going to jump back on with the test knitters and our friends who are here to join us. We've got Tanya, we've got Jan, we have Ben, and Cecilia.
And Remy.
Okay, I don't see them, so if you see them, Julia, let me know. Actually, it would be great if all of our testers could just put their hands up. Like if you could do the little hands up reaction on Zoom, it'll pull you guys up to the front of the line, and then I can pin you for the next segment. So we're going to take a little 4 or 5 minute break here. And I'm going to turn off my camera. I'm going to play a little bit of music. So this is just a chance for us to go and have a little bathroom break. So we'll be back in about 5 minutes. You guys keep knitting, and we'll see you in a minute. Okay, we're gonna get started again in about 1 minute. So everybody wants to kind of grab their seats and grab your knitting. So I just want to let everyone know the chat's super active, but I'm not looking at the chat. It's really hard for me to manage the Zoom and look at the chat. Julia's looking at the chat. I will not be able to respond to any DMs. I'm so sorry. It's just not possible. I don't have enough hands to do that. If you have any questions about anything that we've shown during this knit night, email us at coloradvice@bientaimee.com. So I want to make sure that everyone's back. I'm just waiting for Julia to get back because I have a special announcement. If you've already been on Instagram, you probably saw that I posted about some spring cleaning here at Bien Aimée.
Yep.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We're back from our little break. I hope that you guys got some beverages or whatever you're knitting. So, spring cleaning. Let's talk about this, Julia. So we do this every so often. We need to clean out the shelves in Expedition. That's where we ship all of your packages from when you guys order on our online store.
We just have too much yarn. Too much yarn.
Well, the thing is, like, I have so many ideas for new bundles, and we need to make room. So it's kind of like out with the old and in with the new. Mm-hmm. And starting tonight at 7 p.m., so an hour ago when we started Knit Night, a 20% coupon code just went live on our online store on everything except Fox Thoughts bundles, Quarry Confetti, books, and needles. So that means all of our yarn bases, all of our yarn bundles that we have online, bags, pouches, pins,
yeah,
all 20% off. Julia's going to pop into the chat the code. It is Spring Clean 2022. And the spring cleaning is going to go all the way until Saturday at midnight. So we really want to clean out everything. So have fun, guys. There you go. So in the second section, I thought it would be really fun to talk with some of the test knitters and friends of Vincent and Max. And first up, we have Cecilia. Hi, Cecilia.
Hi.
Hi. I want to introduce Cecilia because she has been a very important person in the worsted book because she has knit several of our samples with us, and she knit this sample that I'm wearing. And I consider her like an LBA staff knitter. So she's someone who knits a lot of samples for us that I show like in the book or sometimes on social media. The shawl that Julia's wearing is the Stephen West Mystery Cowl that Cecilia knit for us. And I'm going to let Julia take over the questions for the test knitters.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Hola, Cecilia. I always say hola to Cecilia because Cecilia is joining us from Spain. Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Fine, thank you.
This is the limits of my Spanish, just so you know. I just use those 3 words I know. No problem. I know a couple more, but I don't always remember them. So thank you so much for joining us, Cecilia. It's awesome to see you. Could you please introduce yourself a little bit and tell us where you're coming from?
Okay, my name is Cecilia Ballesteros. I live in near city of Madrid in Spain.
How long have you been knitting?
Well, I started tonight as a children. My grandmother taught me tonight, but I didn't like. I didn't like it too much because she taught me in English method.
The flicking, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It's what I do.
That's what I do too. Well, kind of. Yeah, I do that too.
Yes. But in 2011, when I was pregnant with my first daughter, I wanted to make a sweater for a baby. And I started looking for videos in YouTube. I discovered the continental method. I love it. And since then, I have not stopped knitting.
So that's how you are such a fast knitter. Because you knit very fast.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, you knit very fast. Aimee and I are always like,
impressed.
We only have 1 week to knit this sample. Let's ask Cecilia.
Well,
yeah. Yeah. And
it's
so
it's something to be proud of.
Yes.
Cecilia also knit our sample of the cowl for the holiday mystery box. And she tested it.
She did section 2 twice because I had like something in the pattern I had not, every tester was not using, like I thought every tester was using the yarns from the box. So I didn't think about telling them to hold the yarn double, the helix and felix. So she did it once first with just holding it single. It was like, then she's like, oh no, I'm just gonna redo it. It's fine.
Yeah, she's a very, very good knitter. Yeah. Awesome. And so Cecilia, you've been one of our sample knitters for about 2 years now.
Yes.
And so how did you start test knitting and sample knitting?
Yes, before making samples, I did a lot of tests. I think I have done about 100 tests.
Wow.
And I have knitted a lot of clothes. And one day I saw a request on Instagram to make a sample and I sing it up. After that, I kept looking for more sample requests on Ravelry and Instagram, and I think every time I did it more until one day I saw that Aimée asked for samples. I wrote it. I sent her photos of some of my previous samples, and I made a first sample for her. Which was Starflake by Stephen West in November 2020. And since then I haven't stopped knitting for
let me make a precision about the Starflake. I started it and I sent it to Cecilia. She matched my gauge and finished it. It is perfect.
Yeah, I think you had knit the first clue and the beginning of the second or something. And then we just sent your project bag with your needles and everything to Cecilia. Like, can you please finish this?
And it was incredible. I got it back and I was looking at it and I was like, this feels like I did it. You know what I mean? Because the gauge was exactly the same. So
yeah. Absolutely.
Well.
And so that was perfect because I remember when Aimee posted that call for sample knitters, Aimee had started talking about the book, about the worsted book, and she said, we're going to need more sample knitters for this book. And so when you signed up, when you sent a message, we thought, oh, that's perfect because Cecilia is in Europe. So it's gonna be quick to send packages back and forth because we send you yarn, you send us samples, and we keep sending things to each other all the time. And so, yeah, it worked out so great for us.
It's great job for Aimée.
Julia, show off some of the other samples that
yes, absolutely. So not only did Cecilia knit the two things that Aimée is wearing right now, because Aimée is wearing the Yesteryears and the From Montreal to Paris. Cecilia has also knit a few of Max's other designs, like, for example, the Volcano trail.
Yes.
So Cecilia, I think that you knit this neutral version that I'm holding up.
And our local Paris sample knitter knit this one for us.
Yeah. So I'm holding the one, I think we called it the Jinju Fade.
Yes, that's
Aimée,
right.
you have the Anemone.
Yes,
Yeah.
this was, Max, what did we call this? This was the Volcano Fade. I think we called this one.
It turned out to be, because you were working on the fade while I was designing, and just said, can you make something with it? Because I have the other one.
Side note, I was making this fade and I don't know how I showed, I think I showed it to Max because you were knitting something in anemone or something. And I was like, hey, you want to see something? And then I showed him the rest of it. And that's how this came about.
I have the one that looks like a volcano.
Yes, the one that's the lava.
So good.
It's a beautiful design.
Yeah. Yeah. So you knit those for us, and then you also knit this that I'm holding up is the Snowfield cowl that Max designed, and it was published in Len Magazine.
Yes.
So this one is DK and Kumo.
Super cozy. This would be great to be wearing in -24 weather right now, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I think I might go home with this one, Aimée. Just letting you know right now.
I know where you work.
It's not -24 in Paris, but it is a little bit cool, let's say.
How funny you are.
Yeah.
It's like summer over here for them.
My -24 cowl is actually the Volcano trail.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, so Cecilia,
Let's ask Cecilia the technique question.
Yes, absolutely. If you were a knitting technique, what technique would you be, Cecilia?
I think I like to knit all techniques. I enjoy learning new stitches, but it's hard to stick with just one. And maybe cobbles or brioche.
Cable or brioche?
Yeah,
nice.
Okay.
Nice. Those are good techniques.
Yeah.
Love it.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Cecilia, for joining us.
Thank
See you
you
soon.
All right, so next up we have Jan. Hi, Jan.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So Jan, did you test knit this too?
Yes. I test knitted this for Vincent. So I really wish I have got my hands on the holiday box back then. I was a bit slow, so the box was gone. And then I was also quite slow at realizing actually Vincent was doing this design based on the content in the box. So for me, the first thing is always, oh my God, what color am I gonna choose? What color am I gonna choose? I always make like a big fuss about it. I don't know why, but I drive myself insane by doing that.
I think we all do that though.
I know. So I know I was gonna take this project with me when I went on my year-end holiday break. And back then, we always, I live near Philadelphia. We already started to feel that this winter is gonna come on pretty harsh. We have not had a very, very cold winter for the past 2 years. So this one came on quite strongly. So, and I just remember usually every year as we go deeper and deeper into the winter, like by January, I just got so fed up with the gray and the lack of the, the shortened daylight time, so on and so forth. So I remember that I was always looking for something brighter and cherry or like a winter pastel. So lucky for me, even though I did not get my hands onto the box, but I do stock a whole bunch of Amy's beautiful yarns. So anyhow, so I could get my hands on to the Sakaway yarn and the Kumo, which is I think probably
Hold that up. Similar. I want to see that. Oh my goodness, look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So quite similar to Vincent's story, I believe. So I was quite happy about it. So I went with one base color with the Bien Aimée yellow. Yeah. So I think I'm very happy with it because it did a great job to bright up the day. And then I tried to sew the color of the Kumo I picked, I believe is the Aya. I hope I'm saying the name right. But anyway, it's a neutral. Is it
air?
A-Y.
Yeah, air.
Air, okay. So it's a beautiful neutral, but it has a speckle of the sort of the rust, the green, a hint of mauve, and like a bit pink. So I pulled a whole bunch of other colors based on that. I was hoping it comes out to remind me on like some blooms, we have at the warm weather, because that's how that Kumo was reminding me of. So some of the other color I incorporated in there. Let me see. So this is actually a pink from Blue Posay, but it's really like the hotness from the Bien Aimée. And then I have the purple, which is the Madeline, and I have Yona in there. So this is how I pulled with all the colors. And at first I almost shocked myself. I was like, oh my God, this is so outside of my box. But now it's all done and I really love it. And also I have to thank Vincent, for coming up like 4 amazing sections, right? I mean, I think coming up one of them, just the first one is quite impressive already, I would be done with it.
Yes.
But coming up with 4 of them, like really is, above the average amazingness, right? Yeah. So here's the first one. And here's my second one for the brioche session.
Love.
Thank you. And then we're going back to the other end. This is the third one. And then last one is absolutely my favorite, because you switch color like every so often, and you just want to keep going to see how
this one's my favorite section. This is crazy. Awesome.
Yeah, that's how they play out together, I think. And the other thing is it really kicked my butt on color working. Because I can do stranded color knitting, but this one I almost perfected on holding the yarn, one hand doing the English knitting, and then the other hand doing the continental knitting.
Yeah, this would be a great project for practicing that.
Exactly, because I would not have survived it if I did not do it that way, right? Because it's almost not possible. So I'm actually I feel very proud. So and of course the cowl is so cozy. It's so lovely, and Amy said, you can easily twice.
Perfect.
It's perfect. It's like I put the fuzzy part, the section 1 in the back of my neck, and then put it right
Yeah,
there.
okay, yeah, that's good idea. Yes, I think it happens in the back of my tank. Yes.
Really quick, there's a question from the chat. Is the pattern available?
Yeah, I've just answered. Yeah, it's on Ravelry. It's called From Montreal to Paris. It's on Les Garçons designer page. Yeah. I'll find the link.
We'll try to find the link.
I'll post that link.
Yeah, Julia's gonna find the link and she'll throw it into the chat. We'll add this to the show notes when I upload this to you.
And next week we'll have the full file, because now it's based on the clues, but all the clues are released. But I'll have a full file for the entire thing done.
And I saw someone else ask if we will be making kits.
Yeah, I saw that.
And yeah, Vincent and I were like, yeah, but we're kind of busy, so we're gonna try to fit that in. I think probably right after this call, I'm gonna be like, all right, let's set a date. But anyways, thank you so much, Jan, for sharing your version. Actually, this is the first time that I've seen a version that's not with the yarn from the box. And it's amazing. It looks so good. I love it.
Aimee, okay, I wrote down all the colors.
Design justice, yeah.
Yeah,
I hope I did the design justice. Yeah, but I'm actually quite in love with it, if you allow me to say that. Even though it's really outside of my box, because I don't wear bright colors so much, but actually this will go with almost any of the neutral color outfit I have.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, and there's somebody in the chat that wants to know if there's going to be kits for this, so you should make some kits.
Oh, okay. I'll think about it too. Yeah.
In case you guys don't know, Jan owns a yarn shop in Doylestown called Forever Yarn, and she sells Bien Aimée. So maybe there'll be some kits of Jan's version showing up.
Yeah, and Aimee's gonna come visit us in February. So if you go on Aimee's event page, you're gonna find the dates, and and I will announce more specifics about it as well.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Okay, one last question, Jan. If you could be a knitting technique, which technique would you be?
That's kind of hard, but I think I will go with the slip stitch. Because it's like it can do so much and actually allow you to take it easy. You don't have to. It give you a lot of times, give you like a very beautiful, like color work looking, but the amount of work you have to put in, so being lazy is a lot of less. And not only that, it also create a unique texture to me. So I did the pressed flower shawl. As I was knitting that pressed flower shawl, I was obsessed with it. And once you figure out the regularity of the pattern, you don't even have to look at it anymore. You can just keep going because you know how it's supposed to be unfolded. It's like, so I would have to go with that one.
Lovely. Slip stitch. That's great. Let's introduce Tanya. Hi, Tanya. Hey, so Tanya first popped up on my radar when I saw her modeling these cowls.
Yeah, I'm kind of the official model of Maxim for Maxim. I'm getting used to see my face all over the place.
Well, it's a gorgeous face, and I love those photos that you guys shot. And you guys shot those with Remy?
Yes.
Right? Yep.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun that day. It was quite a weird day though, because it was like in the beginning of not only did we have lockdown here, but we had a curfew, and then we got into it that day, and then we were late for the curfew, and I was stressed to go home. I was like, this is like mixed feeling day, like Max said, like a good day but a weird day. Well, anyway, I saw that
it was exactly 1 year ago.
Oh,
today?
On this day.
Really?
Yeah.
On this day,
on this day, yeah.
Hello.
Wow, what are the chances?
What are the chances? And we're all together now.
Yeah.
It's the Volcano Trail Cowl anniversary
Yeah.
today.
It's true.
Here's mine.
It's amazing. Can I just ask, okay, so if you guys, you need to go to the Ravelry page and look at these photos if you are not familiar with them. The photo with the gum, the bubble,
Like this is what it's like a last minute idea. So when Remy was shooting the photos with Max, I just ran to the corner store and I bought all the gum I could see. And then it took, like, I don't know, do you guys have bazooka gum? It's like big chewing gums. And I had like 6 in my mouth to be able to do that. Like it's a whole pack of gum.
And you have
able
to be
to do-
careful, it's knitwears also.
Yeah.
So you don't want it to go hard. So.
Because we had to get one bubble that was thick enough so it doesn't explode when I like with the cowls when we were moving them. It was something. It was an experience.
I'm gonna try to find a photo really quick and see if I can throw it up on the screen.
If I turn off my camera, you'll see it because it's my profile picture.
Oh, okay, yeah.
There you go. Because I really love that picture. I think it not only is it beautiful, but I think it shows my personality. So I use it for everything.
Well, it's lovely. It's an amazing shot. I love that. Okay, I'm gonna let Julia take over. Not interrupting anymore.
So, bonjour, Tanya.
Bonjour.
I really want to talk to you in French because I actually I watched your podcast for a really long time.
Really?
Because you have a podcast called Procrastinators.
Yes.
So it's pretty easy to translate in English. It's Procrastinators with your friend Camille.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we started it in 2018.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a great project. We had a lot of fun with it. But now it's a little bit slowed down on the frequency because
of course,
life.
But this thing that's happening.
Yeah, but it's in French. So but thank you for watching us.
Yeah. I mean, it's so interesting because I feel like in the last few years, so many Canadian podcasts came out, a lot of them in French from French Canadian knitters. And so it makes me think that there must be a huge knitting community in Canada, no?
Yeah, we have, well, especially here in Quebec, we have a big one. Like, I don't know how it started, but for me, it started with a Facebook group, which was like, at the beginning, it was 3,000 people in the Quebec region, but now it's like almost 20,000 people, pretty much everyone from here in Quebec. So it facilitates like the community to grow it. Yeah. So for me, it started there. And then I met friends. I met Camille through that group and I met a lot of knitting friends there. So yeah, we have a huge community and it's really fun.
Yeah. So it's really, really cool to meet you. And can you tell us how long you have been knitting?
I started actively knitting like more frequently with Max at the same time, actually. We really started, I tried one time before, like in 2009 for I don't remember who said it, but for a baby, like my best friend at the time, she was pregnant and I wanted to knit something for her baby. Like the baby is 14 now and she didn't get anything. She never saw that project. And so when Max was writing his book, he had a part with about tricotin. So we started like playing with that and I was like, you know what? I think I have knitting needles somewhere. So we were living together at that time. So we just dug up my stuff and we started, and we tried to buy yarn. And at that time, it was really hard to it was harder to find yarn than now. Yeah. So and we didn't want to buy like great yarn. So we spent a day like doing all the stores to try to find yarn that we were not scared to mess up. And then
of course, to start.
Passion started. And then we never stopped.
Awesome. Yeah, that's really awesome. And so do you test knit for anyone else than Max?
Oh yeah, I did I did a few test knits for Quebec designers here. Yeah. And a few for Camille because she does great.
Camille is an amazing designer.
Yeah, you probably know her for the Alaska hat. Like it's pretty well known on Ravelry. And then of course I tested for Max, but I did one for Sari Norlund, and I did the Kuutar sweater.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. And
what yarn did you use?
What yarn did I use? I used the British 4-ply by Vincent, and it was before the base was out. I think I had it in the preview, and it's the color Rosanne.
Aimée has it.
Rosanne's first knit. Here, there you go.
Gorgeous.
This is my favorite sweater, by the way.
And the sweater you're wearing, this
is the Hide and Peak.
Yeah,
by Max. Yeah. So this was also a sample for the photo shoot, where you can see me spinning with my drop spindle.
That's true.
Yeah, one of the pictures in the pattern is me spinning with the drop spindle with the shirt on. I really love this one too, because it's with the daughters farmers. Yeah.
Farmer's daughter.
Farmer's daughter. Yeah. Rambouillet, and it's like
that's such a cool base.
Such a cool base. Yeah. I'm always hot, and so I don't wear a lot of my my knittings because it's always too hot. But this one, I can wear it when it's -24 like today, or when it's in the spring and it's 15 outside, and I'll go out and I'm good either way. So it's really a good base and a good sweater.
Oh, perfect. Can you please show us? Because I see a shawl behind you. Yeah.
Yeah, this is my wall shawl.
Yeah. It looks very, very beautiful.
Which one? This
the
one
first one, yeah, the Shawlography.
Well, you know why it's beautiful, because it's La Bien Aimée yarn.
I mean, I recognize fluoromorganite from a mile away.
So now that's why it's beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
So the flashy yarn here, it's the Mondim, La Bien Aimée with Mondim, the color, I don't remember the name,
it's
but it's
fluoromorganite.
Yeah. So this is the color, and I used pretty much like your yarn and Vincent's yarn in this, I think.
Ah, perfect.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I have Shibuya here also. Yeah.
My God, perfect.
Yeah. I really love this one because I chose on purpose, like I wanted to stash dive, and I chose a few different textures. Just like I wanted to have fun with the touch. And this part here is my favorite because when you pet it, it's like a few different texture, like a little bit like prickly, a little bit soft, a little bit everything. I love it.
It looks amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
I like. Also, this was like in my stash. I don't think it would be colors that I would naturally put together, but I have my stash on a wall, but it's up in the air because I have cats, and they were like all next to each other on the wall, and I just looked up and I was like, yeah, these are the colors.
Yeah, that happens to us here, like in the website where we have the yarn for the online shop. Sometimes you see two colors next to each other and you're like, damn,
yeah,
Nico and Madeleine go so well together.
Yeah,
or something, you know,
that's why I love
that happens all the time.
Yeah, that's why I love to have my stash on the pegboard like this, because every so often I just go and play with yarn and I just put them in different orders, and then sometimes you have color combos that
can we see your stash? Are you able to give us a peek at your stash now?
You'll see a little bit of my I'm a messy person, okay? So you'll see a little bit of mess.
You have no idea what my office looks like.
Okay, let me because I this weekend I went to buy a knitting machine, so that's what you have there.
Wow!
And yeah, there it is.
Wow! Look at all that.
Can you see it?
Yes.
So this is the stash, like fiber stash on the side and like yarn stash.
Perfect.
And then I have in other spaces.
So okay. So knitting machine. Tell us about your knitting machine.
Like I saw it on like that big Facebook group. A lady that her mom died. Like that's sad, but she had a knitting machine and she didn't know what to do with it. So, and she was selling it for like nothing. And I was like, well, that's my chance to learn it. So I just went and bought it and got it. So I'm trying to make it work now. It's not easy. I
Amy, it took you a little while not to really
and my
figure
machine
it
is
out.
super basic. I think yours is way more advanced than mine. Mine has no bells and whistles. It is literally the most basic machine ever.
Well, I think it's pretty basic too. But it's large. I have like 126 needles.
Yeah, you have more than I do.
So like it's quite large, but like I'm just trying to get used to it on like 20 needles because it's hard enough for me. Well, I think it's just an old machine and I have to like clean it up because the needles keep on
they get stuck
undoing themselves. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that probably needs to be cleaned. And
yeah, I think that's the weekend project between knitting and spinning and all yarny things.
There's so many videos on YouTube about cleaning knitting machines. I actually kind of watch them sometimes just to relax myself. I know it's really crazy, I'm weird, but YouTube is a really great reference for all that kind of stuff.
Well, that YouTube taught us to knit, basically.
Absolutely.
Basically, let's ask Tanya the technique question.
Yes, Tanya, if you were a knitting technique, which one would you be?
I don't know. Well, I have like 3 in mind. I had brioche, but I think we already have one brioche, so I think I'll have to choose something else. So I was somewhere between the I-cord, because I love I-cord edging for everything. If it's not an I-cord on the edging of something, I will knit an I-cord. So I think I would be this or lace because it's beautiful and complicated.
Just like you.
But when you get closer, it's easier than it looks.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
I love it.
Thank you.
Love it. So I was a little selfish when I invited our testers, because I told Vincent and Max, I was like, can you invite Aimée to Knit Night? Because I really wanted to meet him. I have been obsessed with your photography since I started realizing you were shooting all the photos for Les Garçons. We'll talk about your photography in a second, but tell us a little bit about your origin story, Remy. Like, how did you learn to knit? How old were you? Who taught you?
Hi. So as Amy said, I'm Remy. I'm also from Montreal, and I think I learned to knit as a teenager, probably, or maybe I learned many times as a kid. Like on many occasions, I asked someone to show me, but I never really knitted at that time. And it was many years later, I was working at a photography store, and there was a knitting store right next to it. And I don't know how, but I decided, I think I know how to knit, so I'll go and get some yarn. So I went there. It was for a long time my local yarn store. It's closed now, but it's also when I met someone who 10 years after became my life partner, who was working there. And 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 then it was also through social media that I met all of these amazing knitting friends. But I must say that I'm not necessarily the YouTube learner. I learned with Knitting for Dummies, actually, which is actually a good book to learn. And then it was the craftsy era, and Patty Lyons was a great help and inspiration for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, cool. Very cool. So you worked at a photography store next door to a yarn shop. And so at the photography store, what did you do? So you were taking photos, or?
No, I used to work there. I no longer work there. I was a salesperson there. And then I worked for many years at the photo lab. So I developed photos there. Now I work, I'm actually trained as an actor, and it sometimes is my main job, sometimes it's not. And I work as a dyer for Vincent, because I'm part of the Garçons team. And I work as a photographer. So yeah, I do many things.
That's great. I love meeting people who do many things, because I do many things too. And it's always really fun to bounce ideas off people like that. So I didn't know you were an actor. So what kind of acting do you do?
I specialize in acrobatic theater because I'm an ex-gymnast. That's actually how I got in this situation. Dumb but painful accident in rehearsal. So I'm off work right now for weeks. Still don't know when I'm going to be able to go back to work, but thankfully I knit continental, and it's my right hand that's injured, so I still can knit, which is my salvation, to be able to occupy myself with knitting.
Oh, amazing. Tell us a little bit about your knitwear that you're wearing. I'm curious about that shawl.
Oh, I'm wearing this Mohairino medley.
Oh, love this.
Love this.
Which is huge and cozy and like delicious to wear. It was some of the first yarns that I dyed in a workshop at Twist Festival in Quebec. And yeah, it's actually, I didn't know what to use, because as many people, and like Jan, it's always such a big fuss for me to find the colors, and I'm always hesitant. I don't know what to choose. And it's actually Stephen who chose the colors for me. Like we were just chatting, and he saw these skeins in my stash, and he was like, "Ooh, what is this?" I was like, "It's just yarn that I dyed, but I don't know if I'm ever gonna knit something with that." And he said, "Oh, that would be lovely with that." As a Mohairino medley. So then I used it, and it was actually very fun and lovely.
That's amazing. Amazing. So what other things do you like to knit?
Like I love to knit many things, but I actually knit shawls when I don't know what to knit. Like I pick up a pattern and I knit a shawl.
Yeah.
I'm actually knitting for the first time in my life the same pattern twice.
Oh.
Because I knit for my sister. Still have to give it to her, but lockdown. I knit this Pierre shawl, another West knit.
Oh wow.
With yarn that I dyed maybe in the first weeks when I started working for Vincent. One of the colors is inspired by Rosanne's first knit, one of Vincent's colors. And then the other ones are just a variation on the theme. My inspiration was an alley of lilacs that we had in our backyard when we were kids, and we had lilacs of all colors. So I wanted to represent that for my sister. And after blocking it, I was actually jealous and envious that it would go to her. So I decided with my leftovers to knit another one. So I'm on another exact same one with the same colors.
You never knit the same pattern twice?
No, I usually tend to get bored with a pattern when I'm like at the like 3/4 or something, and I just want it to be over. But it's changing now. I realize that things are changing in me. I'm trying new things. In all those years I had never knit a toy, and now I've knit in the last 2 months. I've knit 2 toys, and
I see that. I'm looking at your Instagram right now, and I saw those. They're so cute.
The 2 last posts.
Yeah, it's super satisfying knitting toys. Somebody in the chat just said that they've knit 17 Love Note sweaters.
Wow.
Chapeau.
I'm always so impressed with that.
I am a person who knits the same pattern over and over again. I have knit 15 dotted rays. I have dotted rays pattern memorized in my brain. So like when I need to cast on something and I don't know what to cast on, I just cast on the dotted rays.
There's so many patterns out there I want to knit. So I feel like I'm wasting that time on knitting twice the same.
I think that my thing with me is not that I knit the same thing, is that I always start designs that I never finish.
Oh.
I've yet to design something. It's never happened yet, but I have many half projects that I started designing but never finished. And like, of course, now with Curry Confetti, like the only thing I'm thinking of is designing a cable sweater. But will it ever happen? I don't know.
You just got to cast on and see what happens. Sometimes the yarn will speak to you and tell you what it wants to be, you know.
True.
All right, Remy, if you could be a knitting technique, what technique would you be? And you're not allowed to take one that someone else already said tonight.
Well, I've thought a lot about that during the knit night, and I'm pretty sure of my answer. I would be a drop stitch because in my life, I've stumbled a lot. I've made many mistakes in my life, and I've come to realize that these mistakes can also be features, and they can also become assets that I have. And I think like a drop stitch, which can be a mistake, but it can also be used as a great design asset.
Oh, I love that. That's amazing.
And you can do a dead drop.
Yeah.
And you can what?
Do a dead drop like the drag queens.
Oh.
It's super queer.
Well, I'm not gonna ask you to do it because your fingers hurt, but maybe next time in a future knit night.
I want him back to work, so no more, no more dead drops.
No more injuries, please.
I'm just gonna add something on about Femi. If you're a wannabe designer or someone who like designing, go to your knitting group and just ask if there's a photographer there. Knitting groups are there to help you in life. Everyone has a different career. Like we're friends with a doctor, we have a lawyer. Everyone is just, knitting is a great way to discover different friends. And the fact that he knits and take the photo of knitwear, he really knows what we want to feature each time. So we don't have to speak two different languages. So don't be afraid to ask, because this is how we met.
Oh, that's great advice.
Yep.
Great advice. All right, so I want to move on to meeting Ben. Hi, Ben.
Hi.
Hi. I just recently discovered your Instagram. I think you just finished Yesteryears recently.
I have not done a Yesteryears yet.
Oh wait, what did I see you finish? I know you're doing Holiday Mystery Box. That for sure. I know you're doing that.
I did do a Holiday Mystery Box, and I am halfway through a single malt as well.
Yes, so cute.
Love it.
Is that who's the designer?
Oh, that's Matt.
Maxim.
There I go. I'm on your Instagram. I'm like zooming in and looking at it. It's gorgeous.
Oh yeah.
Gorgeous.
It was
right.
So I saw it come out when it came out, and I was in the middle of a bunch of other things. I think it was like holiday knitting or something. And I said, once I'm done with that, I'm casting it on. So as soon as that was done, I was like, okay.
So tell us a little bit about your knitting origin story. Who taught you to knit?
Oh gosh. So my mom taught me to knit probably around when I was like 10. And she laughs now because I never, she's like, you never finished a project. It was one of those where I would start it and it would end up in a basket, and she'd always be like hiding them in the closet. And now about, I want to say probably 5 years ago now, I picked knitting back up. I started crocheting. Then I was like, okay, I want something that looks more finished, more clean. I don't know, garment wear sort of deal. And I picked it back up, and I pretty much taught myself. So now it's really funny because I have a bunch of family members who do knit, and now they're like, I have no idea how you're even completing what you're working on. So it's funny. I make a lot of projects for everybody and give them away just to see their face go, oh my God.
Do you knit for your mom? Do you like make stuff?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knit for my mom. I have a pretty big family. So I have 3 siblings, and step parents as well. So I end up knitting for pretty much a gift for everybody when it comes to the holidays. So this year I actually did 7 pairs of tinsel knits by Andrea Mowry that I gave everybody. And my Shawlography I actually gave to my dad. So a lot of times I'm making something for somebody else rather than myself.
Have you always been that kind of knitter where you knit and you give it away, or is it something?
Yeah, it kind of, what's funny is I start knitting and it's never like with the intent to give it away, but I get halfway through the project and I go, oh my God, this is somebody. And immediately I'm like, this has to go to them. So it was funny when I was doing my Shawlography, I got halfway through and it reminded me of this blanket that my dad always had on the couch when I grew up. And I said, I was like, I looked at my partner and I was like, this is going to my dad. And he's like, are you sure? And I was like, you have no idea. I was like, I'll give it to him and explain the story. And he's just going to be like, what? And it was funny. I gave it to him. And before I could even say it, he's like, it's like the blanket that was on the couch. And I was like, you're right. So yeah, I've always given it away to other people.
That's amazing. I just recently started just giving, well, no, it's not recent. I guess I've been just doing it in the last 3 years. I said, I'll be knitting something. And usually the person who says something to me, oh, I love that. I was like, okay, it's yours. And they're like, oh, okay, whatever. And then I finish it and then I send it to them. And they're like, what? You just sent those socks to me? So be careful. If you come up to me, I might give you my knitting if you say Usually it's socks, because that's like the only thing that I have time to knit right now. Because mostly I knit swatches and socks. But yeah, I'm always curious about knitters who give things away. So I always want to know what's the motivation behind it. So let me say, like, what kinds of things do you knit? Do you knit mostly garments or accessories?
Mostly, actually, I would say it's a mix. I tend to kind of, a lot of times it's the same as most. I would say you're scrolling through Instagram, and you're just like, oh my God, I love that design. And then I'm like, I need to have it. So it's funny, I switch between like sweaters pretty frequently, but I will also do shawls. I'll do socks. I do mittens for people as well, like I mentioned, hats, cowls. There's no real like specific where I just dive in. Lately though, I've been kind of diving into socks just as like a palette cleanser when I'm not working on something that's a little bit bigger. So yeah.
I like socks as a palette cleanser. All right, fun question. If you were a knitting technique, which technique would you be, Ben?
So I would be color work, particularly Fair Isle. And the one thing that I enjoy most is 1x1 color work. So like when we did the last section of, and this is the last section of my from Montreal to Paris, the 1x1 on the end of this was just, I couldn't stop. I actually mentioned in like the thread that we were in, I was like, I can't put it down. It's one of those where I just want to keep seeing like what comes next. And I also did the hide and peak for Max as well. And when I got like halfway through the college, just like, I can't stop doing this. It's one of those that there's something hypnotic about 1x1 color. It's a great practice too if you're a novice knitter, color work, just to get the technique down. This would actually be really accessible to a novice knitter who's wanting to do color work. So yeah, cool.
A lot of people said that it was the first brioche and they just learned it for the section, and then a lot of people learned about color dominance as well. With the sections. And and I at the end of, like, every time I found a new, because I'm a continental knitter, and every time I found a new like section, I was like, oh, they're like, English knitters are gonna hate me, because it's like always it's easier to do with either continental or two-handed. So I was like, oh, people are gonna like, English knitters are gonna hate me. But
that corrugated ribbing section.
See, when you say all the little techniques in here, the little process knitter in my head is like, ooh, let's do it. I like to jump on. I taught myself to do color work with 2 hands so that I could go faster, because I throw. And I actually can do color work holding 2 strands in one hand. I learned that when I was in Shetland as well. It's interesting, but you can definitely go faster when you do it with 2 hands. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I think that we're at
just
the end
before
of
we
midnight.
finish,
What?
I'm just gonna feature Ben's sweater that he's wearing.
Oh.
He tested my Oxonian sweater that is not yet out. It's been on the shelf for a while because of life. But I'm gonna release it soon. Yeah.
8 months ago, I think I finished it.
Yeah, it's probably. Yeah, so it's like a Henley type sweater that, yeah, it's gonna be out soon.
I'm looking at Ben's Instagram right now. There's a great photo. So if you guys want to see it, jump onto Ben's Instagram. I think Julia just threw all the Instagram handles into the chat.
Yeah, I did.
I will definitely be adding all of those to the show notes of this for anyone who's watching the replay. I remember you talking about this with me, Vincent. The placket.
Yeah.
You talked about it on your podcast as well, because I definitely heard about it.
Yeah, it's done. Like, it's written, it's done, it's tested. There was like some issues with the color with some people, so that's what stopped me. And then life happened, and it was on the shelf, but it's coming soon.
And it's a gorgeous design, and we're all excited for it. So.
And I also wanted to add that because the reason I invited Ben as well is that he's one of the first customers that we had when we opened the shop. He's like, I think there might have been like 2 or 3 test orders, but he's like the second or third after those. Like, he's one of the OG customers.
Yeah. We all have our OG customers. We have ours here at LBA too. Oh, that's so lovely.
Like, I was just thinking, like, earlier today, that it's fun to see a face, because in the spring last year I wasn't working, so I helped Maxim and Vincent to pack up stuff when they had shop updates and everything, and I saw Benjamin's name come up often, so I was like, oh, well, I know the name.
I didn't say that he was buying often. I just said he was the first.
Well, now I feel like I know you because I feel I know your stash.
It was often enough where I think I was doing a test knit for Max, and actually it was the Partners in Crime test knit, and Vincent actually called me out in the email. He was like, I've seen your name before, and I was like,
well, no thank you guys. I think we're at the end. Yeah, we've kind of gone over a little bit, so we kind of have to end this. But I did finish my swatch of Framboise Cory Confetti, so I thought I'd give you guys a little sneak peek of this up close. Wow. So yeah, it's really gorgeous. This is coming on February 14th, so we'll be releasing that. The replay is going to be up this weekend. I'll work on it, and I think I'm going to send it to Les Garçons as well, so they can put it on their YouTube channel if they want to. So thanks for joining, everyone. It's super awesome to host these virtual knit nights. Julie and I will be back again next week with Sylvia Watts-Cherry and Tien Q Lam from Worsted Book to talk about more knitting. So have a great week, everyone. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.